Hey, welcome back to the Green Logbook. If you're into space age travel, or maybe you want to try it out this year, this episode is for you. I interviewed Rob, the creator of Ebie Travels. He's making some waves in the space age sector, and you're going to want to hear what he's got for you. So let's go check it out. I'll tell you what, man. So I signed up for the emails. So I thought this was one of the coolest parts. So I look up West Coast flights going over to Hawaii, and I think a couple other ones, and I get like weekly emails sent to me via your website saying there's actually let me look it up here because I just got one I think today. Here we go.
That service,
Ebie
that
tracker.
service that you're talking about, that's like the logical next step is I don't even want to log into your site, Rob. I just want it in my inbox, right? And so that's the email services. There you go. It's right in your inbox.
That's that guy right there. There you go. So
yeah,
Lewis McCord to Honolulu, 24 seats. You know, it gives you all the information, right? And you pick when you want to go. It's pretty freaking cool.
So I guess the real question is, are you going to Hawaii on the 14th? Since there's a flight available. I think it said how many seats? It said 54 seats. You got to sign up.
Oh man! So I'll tell you what, man. I'm actually looking for a flight over to Virginia. So that's
the Explorer is a great tool for you for that because you could put in West Coast, put in East Coast, and see like the history of flights and what it looks like and what the likelihood of one of those kind of flights popping up.
Are you able to pull up the website from?
Yeah, absolutely.
From your side.
Okay, so right now Ebie offers 4 different services. So 2 are free and then 2 are paid. So I'll just start with the free services. The terminal sign up, excuse me. This was one that there used to be this app called Take a Hop, and one of the features that it had that users really, really liked was I don't want to have to email every single terminal that I'm interested in and sign up for them. And a lot of people are confused, like what information is required, what information isn't needed. So to help expedite that kind of process, I built this feature. So this is a sign up feature where it runs you through the information that you're required to input. And then you choose the terminals that you want to go to, and you choose when you want to send it, and then it's done. It'll send the emails for you, and it puts you on the CC line, and then also you're on the reply to. So if a terminal responds because they want to update you for any information, you'll get that email. So
nice.
The first step is just personal information. Some of these fields you can save in your account. So actually, let me just pop over to my account real quick. This is my testing account, so you can see I've just got fake information in here, but I've populated it with my information. So when I come to the terminal sign up, most of it's already filled in. So I'm active duty, so I gotta select my dates. I'm just picking some random dates, and then including myself. And then for each section, for example, like other travelers, if there's information like you're curious about whether your relative qualifies for you or to come with you, there's little links for if you have those kind of questions of where to find that information. And this is a really good one. A lot of time people are like, what's my category? Like I don't know how to fill that in.
It's a good one.
So I've got links. You follow it. It takes you to the official AMC documentation. So I don't put that on my site because it updates not super often, but often enough that I want to take you to the authoritative source.
Sure.
So once you get to your travel information, this is the fun part, right? You're picking where you want to go. Let's say Hawaii. That's a popular location, and I want to sign up from East Coast terminal. So I'm going to choose Baltimore, Dover, Andrew, Charles, something like that.
Just pick as many as you want.
Yep, as many as you want. Hopefully, the average user, I've been tracking the average user submits 12 different terminals. So you can imagine that's a lot of emails. That's a lot of emails to send.
It is. I mean, you just saw my one Hawaii one. It's it's a lot.
Yeah, for real. Sometimes people aren't comfortable with the information that is included in this email. If I
Hmm.
go up to the top, there's a little example right here, right? This is what your email will
Okay.
look like.
And this is
So,
an email that gets sent to the terminal,
yep,
correct?
signs you up
Okay.
for that, for whatever route you're interested in.
Okay.
So some people want to include more information. So there's this field down here that's comments, and it's a free text field, put whatever you want, right? Some terminals demand your DoD ID number, which it's PII, so technically they shouldn't be asking for it, but
Mhm.
they get to make the rule. So some users will put information in here and send those to those terminals. And then actually
Asi-
this feature,
Aside
go
from the
ahead, Ben.
DoD ID number, what else would go in those comments?
I would not include anything else in the comments unless there's like a special consideration. Maybe
Hmm.
you need some kind of consideration at the terminal based on your
Sure.
personal circumstance. Because
Okay.
otherwise, the official authoritative source for signing up for Space A flight is this forum called 140, and I followed that to a T, the information that's required. So no other information is officially required other than what's in this form.
Gotcha.
So then, by popular demand, I've added this schedule send. So now you can choose a new day to send your email. So this is popular for active duty service members because you can't sign up until that first day of leave. So if I was
Hmm.
filling out this form now and I don't go on leave until the 14th, I could then schedule this, say, okay, send it on the 14th, and I want to send it right away, right? 0, 100.
Right.
So you can hit. I'm not going to do it because it will send. This is live. So if
Oh,
I
okay.
hit sign up, it's going to schedule it, and then when the 14th hits, this email will send out.
When you send it out, is it good for? Is it only valid for a certain number of days? Do you have to travel within a certain number of days?
Yes, you do. I can't remember if it's 30 or it's 60 days. Because I'm active duty, you have to sign. You can only sign up on your first day of leave. But
Hmm.
for retirees or other categories, it's 60 or 30 days. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but this is a good time to do a plug-in for the different resources to learn about Space A.
Yeah.
Is if you're interested in like diving deep into the different processes, there's a website that's really popular, Pop and Smoke. That's a
Okay.
really
Yep. I've heard of
popular
that one.
site. Yep, for educating yourself on the different rules for Space A. And then there's the Facebook groups are gold. If you join one of the million Space A Facebook pages out there, the moderators, the admins are great. They answer questions, they post resources for learning. So once you have like a kind of a baseline learning of Space A, that's when Ebie really shines. Is now you've educated you generally have a baseline education of Space A, and now Ebie helps you pinpoint a flight and take it. So that's the real advantage of the service.
Excellent, man. So what happens after you press submit? The terminals get the email,
Yep.
and then you're cleared hot to go and take your family and your luggage over to the terminal. Is that it? Do you have to check in
Yeah.
with anybody?
So no, you don't have to check in, but once you sign up, you're not signing up for a specific flight. You're signing up for a route. If so,
Hmm.
if it's so, if we go down, look at what I put in. I said Hawaii from Baltimore, Dover, Andrews, or Charleston. So if a flight to Hawaii, independent of which terminal in Hawaii it goes to, comes up, then I'm registered for it. So a lot of like retiree like consistent Space A travelers, they'll pick up a whole bunch of countries just to be safe. A popular one is Germany, especially on the East Coast, the
Yep.
UK, Spain. So this, if I was a if I was a retiree and I'm trying to play it safe, this is probably more of what it would look like. And why not, right? It's free to sign up.
Hmm.
So, and with this feature, it's not a lot more work to configure your email and send it out. But once you're signed up, the next step is you got to monitor the schedules. So that kind of is
Hmm.
a good prelude into our next feature. So this is completely free, and so is the schedule report, which Vic, I just launched the updates this morning for this, so I'm actually really excited to show this. This schedule report, it advertises the member exclusive services here, but the meat and potatoes is now instead of visiting all those different websites, you have links to all those different schedules here. So one of I think BWI, I put BWI on there. So I'm gonna go visit BWI's block, and here it is. I have a link straight to the 30-day, the 72-hour, and the roll call schedules, and I know when they were last published. And something I'm pretty pumped about, because this took me a long time to code, is instead of opening all these up and looking at the flights, you can just click this pop down, and now you've got all of the scheduled flights and which schedule that they came from listed right here. Yeah,
Dude, how much time do you spend on building this? I just have to ask. I know you said your wife will get pissed.
Oh, at least probably like 7 hours a week, just updating the code, fixing bugs. Thankfully I've reached kind of a plateau where I'm just fixing bugs right now. I'm not planning on any big new features. So once I have all the bugs worked out and some good user feedback, I'll start to look at expanding features. So right now I'm just in maintenance mode, making sure it's all working. But let's take a look at one of these, right? Let's take a look at Germany. This is a good one. So it's heading out on the 14th. Ooh, not a good one. 1 seat. So probably not a great one. Yeah, probably not a great one to sign up for.
Might as well look at that Hawaii one with 50 seats that I just saw.
Yeah, for real, right? So this is the next step, though, is you have to go monitor those schedules, which is the beauty of the email service that you were talking about, Vic, is now like instead of every day having to pull up these different schedules, even though I have consolidated them, it's still an extra step. Why not just get it in your inbox? It comes in your inbox, and then you can take a look at the flight, see if it's something you wanna hit, and then go take that flight.
Now it does. I know we've talked a little bit about it too, about the different terminals or the different AMC terminals. For instance, like NASNY would be somewhere near close to where I am. Are you in the works of getting stuff like that, like these other terminals in there?
I'm glad you asked, because that's something that I've just added. Is you'll see the Facebook icon next to some of these flights, and these are the terminals that refuse to comply with AMC and post on their website. These are the guys that are like, we don't care, we're still posting on Facebook.
Right.
It's their choice. So what I've done is I've built this ability to report flights. So I know I'm going to go to Whitby, because I know that they published some flights today, and a user actually logged on to this platform and reported the flights. So I'm going to click on this. And you can always visit the authoritative site by just clicking the header. That'll bring you to, in this case, it'll bring you to Facebook, right? Because that's where they post. But you can report flights. If this terminal posted flights, you can click report. It takes you to a report page, and you just submit a screenshot, and my program extracts the flights. Right? You have 4 flights that were reported, and always check the authoritative source, right? You always got to go back and confirm the post. So if you just click on the source, this was the screenshot that was submitted to support that flight.
Wow. And this is all automatic. Like I'm kind of amazed, because there's a lot that goes into this website with all the links and all that. This is all kind of like a code that you implemented into the site, where it's like you click and it brings up a screenshot.
Yep. A whole big cloud infrastructure that I built. It was fun for me, even if I was throwing this whole thing away afterwards. I wouldn't have spent all the hours that I've spent, but it's really fun to build something that like people find valuable. And this has been
Oh yeah.
this page in particularly is extremely popular. It gets hundreds and hundreds of views. I think since I posted it, it's hard for me to calibrate the numbers coming to here because
Hmm.
it's just a plain HTML page. But this gets about 5 times the traffic as the Space A submit or the sign up feature. And the sign up feature, I've had over 100 signups so far. So it's really fun to see people use the services. But Vic, I haven't even shown you the best part that I put into this
Okay,
yet.
let's do it.
I'm pumped. Okay, there's 2 tabs.
All
So
right.
now you can click posted flights. And now instead of all those flights being all scrambled, organized by terminal, now you organize them by region. So you're in the West Coast. Let's just drop this flights originating from the West Coast.
Hmm.
And now you've got every future flight that's posted originating in the West Coast. It's all here, based organized by date.
Sure.
Look at this. I mean,
Nice.
you got a couple flights coming leaving
Yeah,
there. Seattle's a little ways from you though. That would be a
it
pain.
is. It is. I know Seattle's a big one though. There's a lot of flights going out of there. I know Travis is always showing up on my side.
Travis,
North
yep. Oh,
Island.
where's Scott? Is Scott on
No
the
idea,
East
man.
Coast?
I have no clue. Scott Air Force Base.
Yeah. Well, the
Let's keep
Explorer
going.
is a good tool to figure out where that is. So we'll get to that. Those are just the free features, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have commented, they're like, "This is crazy. You're offering this for free." And
Mhm.
my policy in my mind is anything that just saves people time, I'm lumping in the free feature. You know, you can sign up. It's an absolute pain to go put together all the different emails, do the research of what's included for a sign up. That's a lot of work.
Sure.
But you can do it without Ebie. But now I've just simplified it. And then the live schedule report, you could go visit 38 different sites and consolidate the flight information, or
Hmm.
you could just come here, right? And that's the concept. Is it's those free features are time savers that I want to offer to the community for free. And then the member exclusive features are this is impossible for you to do other than to come to the site. And that's kind of how I've differentiated between the two.
Very good. Here we got a comment here. Harley for Bill says Scott Air Force Base is north of St. Louis, about 30 miles. All right, I stand corrected.
Man,
Scott Air Force
I
Base.
and I should know that because I just came from Fort Leonard
Because you're
Wood.
the guy.
There's a lot to know about Space A.
Yeah.
It's a deep field. I've been really fortunate to partner with some guys that are administrators on the Facebook pages, and they've been like really helpful. And they're not afraid to hurt my
Awesome.
feelings too. If I build
Uh,
something and they think it's going to mislead users, they'll be Rob, you got to
mhm.
fix this.
That's
But I
good.
really appreciate that, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's been because of their input, I've been able to like make this increasingly useful each iteration. So,
Excellent.
all
And then
right.
we had a comment here. Josh CPNW says we're looking at JBLM to Hawaii for a hop later this spring.
Nice. Sounds like a great use for the email, especially if you kind of already know where you want to go. If you
Hmm.
just sign up in the email service, it pushes it to your inbox. But if you're not
Yeah.
quite sure where you want to go, the email service can be kind of overwhelming because if you get dumped with 30 different flights in your inbox, you're going to be like, whoa, but if you know the route that you're interested in, you just set those preferences. In fact, let's go take a look at it, right?
Yeah.
Track flights by email. All right. And I've always got this tab up here, right? I just want to bring note to it. Is these banners, I'm constantly looking for users to provide me feedback. If a user comes on here, like this is trash, or I want this to be a different way, and I never receive that information, I can't make those corrections. So I'm always looking. If you see something that you want on here or you don't like, please always send me an email. I like to pick up those and I put them in my backlog to go through and fix. So all right. set flight tracking preferences. So let's talk about that scenario. Let's talk about well, we said West Coast to Hawaii, right? Or it was SeaTac?
JBLM. Where's JBLM?
JBLM. Okay,
Joint
it's up near
base.
SeaTac, yeah. So that's actually a really good implication because you could set countries or regions, right? I've broken up US because that would be crazy just to lump all US in one category.
Yeah.
So you could do something really broad, like I'm willing to travel, like I'm on the West Coast or I'm on the East Coast, but I'd be willing to travel to get to the terminal, and that would be like in the from countries you would set a preference here. But if you're like, I'm waiting for this terminal to have this flight, then that's where you're going to want to dial it in more. So let's see, JBLM. Oh, I've got it on here as Joint Base Lewis McChord. Okay, so there's that, and let's also add. I'm going to add SeaTac because those are right next to each other. So that's a really good combo, those two. And then we're going to go 2 countries because there's a couple terminals in Hawaii, and you don't want to miss out on some of those other ones. If that's the flight I was going for, this would be the setup I would choose. And now the rest of it is just like how nuance of the information that's pumped to you. Some people want to know if there's a flight posted that meet these categories. I want to see it no matter what. Some people are like, don't send it to me unless it's got seats. And I only want to see it if it's going to have 10 or more seats because I'm not going to sign up for it. So then you could set this to, I think, what is it, 30 is max. So you can set it, let's say 10. And then how far out? Most of the time, AMC or Space A schedules won't post their availability until the 72-hour mark. So most likely you wouldn't get these, until 3 days out. But if you were setting your preference for 0, you could just be like, I want to see everything. Send me everything. But nonetheless, we're going to leave it as everything. And 10.
That's some wishful thinking there. 10 seats at one time.
You got it.
No, not for the
example.
We'll take it.
Game. Yeah, it's all play your own game, right? Oh well, this is this is 10 seats posted. So not that you want 10 seats.
Oh, okay.
There's at least 10 seats available that were posted. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like we saw that one flight for Germany that only posted 1 seat. So like that,
and the good thing is a lot of the Hawaii ones that I see are like 50 seats available. And I'm sure that they go quick, but the ones, at least the ones that I've been getting emails on, about 50 seats or so, 30 to 50.
You'd be surprised. We'll see it when we go to the Explorer. We'll look through the whole history of, let's pick Travis to Hawaii because that's a popular route. We'll look through the whole history out to September 15th, and you'll be surprised how many empty seats are on these flights. It's actually kind of disappointing because you're thinking about all these Hawaii vacations that are being missed out on, right?
Yeah.
So let's okay, and then you can choose daily. If you're not out of the explore phase and you're like, I'm ready to like find a flight, you should select daily because you don't want to miss a flight because sometimes these flights won't come up till 3 days before, and if you're not on daily, you'll miss it. But if you're just kind of perusing, I just want to know what's out there. Weekly's a good option. And then only days that flights show up in the preference is a good option. I thought that was going to be really popular. Like everybody was going to be like, don't email me unless there's flights. But I find that users actually, they want to know if there's no flights, they want to know. They don't want to be sitting in limbo of whether they're, a possibility of a flight or not. They want to definitively know no or yes. So most people, I think 25 people are signed up for this service so far, give or take a couple. I don't know the exact number, but almost all of them are daily. There's only a couple that are weekly, 3 or 4. And then if you're like, stop emailing me, Rob, it's driving me nuts. You come in here, you just hit stop email traffic, stop email tracking, and hit set your preferences, and it's done. All right. So that's fun. This just puts in your inbox, so you don't even have to go visit the sites.
Mhm.
And then in your inbox, there's links to the authoritative schedule that they were pulled from. So you should always check that link, go check that flight, and make sure it still exists.
Okay, and real
All
quick,
right.
we got folks in the comments asking what's the name of the site. It's ebtravels.com. Is that correct?
Yep, ebtravels.com.
.com. All right. Let me put that in the comments
EB
here real quick for everybody.
EB
Travel.com
was
and then
already taken, which is kind of surprising because it's kind of
really.
a made up phrase. So I didn't think I thought that URL would be open, but it turns out somebody beat me to the punch.
Here, let me put the code on there too. I know you hooked it up with a code for
Yep.
folks that are listening if they do want to get the paid version of it, which gives you a lot more features. It's what is the code? Green Logbook, right?
Green Logbook, all caps, 20% off the monthly or the yearly. I suggest the yearly because it's only $45. So then with 20% off, $8 less, so it's in the 30s. And I do. I mean, $5 a month for the monthly is it is kind of high, but the idea for the monthly is that's for like a user that just wants it for a month. They're gonna be like, all right, I'll pay the $5. I want to go do my research, and then I don't want to use Ebie anymore. But the year is like, I'm traveling this year, and I want to be able to to use these features for that mission. So
Yeah, that's going to be me this summer, dude. I'm doing. I wouldn't take this as far as I can take it. Just hopping from here, going somewhere else, and then wherever it
oh
ends
yeah,
up, go to the next place. Just
oh yeah,
go. You know?
that's retired me. Unfortunately, that's still a couple years away though.
That's
Honestly, I
the
gotta kick
greatness
the
of being
kids out of the
retired.
house too.
Yeah.
Mm. All right, now the pride and joy. Um,
All right. Show me.
this was my very first feature, and also this is the feature that powers everything else. So this is the explore feature. I gotta change that. Still says explore, but it's the explore feature is what I'm calling it now. This is the ability. This opens up every flight that I've ever scraped from the different schedules. It's all sitting behind this interface. Is now you can go in here and look at whatever you want, right? Future flights, past flights. You can see the availability of their seats. You can filter by region. You can filter by date. You can filter by seats available. So it's all.
Mhm.
This took an outrageous amount of time to build, but now it's
I
built,
bet.
and we can all enjoy it. Let's. So these are the main overviews is by region because a lot of space age travelers are willing to like travel to different terminals. So that's really the overarching is you can pick a from region and a to region and do a search. But we're gonna dive. Actually, yeah, let's stay at the region level. Let's do west coast. Excuse me, to Hawaii, and you can add more. Right, you can add as much as you want. These are all flights, or all these regions are regions that exist in the database and have flights to them. Are they often? I've got the most often ones at the top. So as you scroll down, you're getting, it's less and less likely. But the ones at the top, like Alaska, Germany, Italy, UK, Japan, South Korea, Spain, Greece, those are like the top dogs. That there's a lot of there's pretty strong likelihood that you can find a space aid flight to one of those. Maybe not from where you live, but if you travel around a little bit, you can find your way there. But let's do a very popular route, the West US to Hawaii. And to demonstrate, the full capability, we're gonna show historic flights. And I'm not gonna set any of these, but in the advanced search, you have that same option to set your minimum posted seat availability. So if we only want to see flights that have 10 seats or more posted, we can do that. If we're only interested in a date range, like say next year you're trying to travel to Hawaii for Christmas, you
Mhm.
probably are interested in what happened last year at
Yeah.
around Christmas time. That data is not available yet because I've only been polling since September. But next year it will be. And then you could dial it in even further. That's not good enough. I want to be just this terminal, and you could dial it in there. So let's go ahead. All right, here it is. I like to go ahead and organize it by date. You can kind of interact with this. It's just basically an Excel spreadsheet, right? You can click the top. Can you filter? No, you can just sort, but you can set the filters up here anyway. So, all right. Flights to Hawaii organized by date. That's not organized by date. Oh, that's the furthest scheduled one. Okay, so the furthest schedule. Let's turn this off actually just a minute, because I want to be able to demonstrate future flights first. So okay, so these are those future flights that we saw on the schedule report, but now we've also got the seat availability posted here. And then if you're curious on the exact location of where those terminals are, they're going to pop up on this little map down here. Right? And this is a pretty easy route, so there's only 3, but sometimes there's a whole bunch of routes, and it can get kind of confusing where those different terminals are. So you can hover on them, click on them, and see where those flights are coming from.
And those seats right there that you have, those are the ones that get updated every 20 minutes. That's what gets updated. Okay.
Yep. So if the terminal posts a new schedule, it'll hit my database in 20 minutes. So let's look at this one. No, it's coming out tomorrow. 73 seats on the 13th. So here it is.
Shout out to Raider HQ real quick. He says he finds this very interesting. Awesome.
It was a lot of fun to make. Yeah. So there we go. 73 tomorrow. It's time to go.
73
right?
seats.
73 seats. This is
Hold on a second. Do I pack my bags or what?
That's what I'm thinking. 9:20 in the morning for roll call. That's kind of a late roll call. Usually these AMC terminals, they want you there at the butt crack of dawn. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's what I found just doing the Space A, because I mean, when you sign up, right? I guess you have your name on the line already, when you sign up. So with this, when you do all this, right, when you submit your forms via the website, do you still have, and I can't recall how it works, do you still have to go up to the front and tell them, hey, I'm here, and then they put your name in line, or is it just how they received it via the website? So
your priority for boarding is set on the date that you emailed. So if you're by category. So if you're a 20-year retiree, category 6, and you sign up for, let's just use this flight tomorrow, for example, you're going, that's not from Travis. Oh yeah, never mind. I got mixed up. I saw this other flight on the 13th from JBLM. So if you're trying to take this flight and you signed up on January 1st, but somebody else signed up on December 15th, assuming 60 days, then that person would be priority, over you in category 6.
Okay.
But these flights don't fill up as often as is thought. And let me prove that to you. Let's dial this in. Let's all the way back to December.
I agree that they don't, because I saw that I got an email for around Christmas time for a flight from the West Coast to Hawaii. And I think it said something like 45 seats or 50 seats, something very high. And then that terminal posted a photo. Hey, we have all these people going to Hawaii. There was like 13 people. I'm like,
we're missing opportunities here. So I'm just going to pick a smaller sample of dates real quick. So let's just scroll through the history, right? Starting November 1st.
Sure.
19 seats published, 7 used. 19 0 used. This was a crappy one. 2 of 2. This one filled up. 19 of 19. 34. I mean, it still didn't fill. 35, 40 a 4, 68, 20. So these flights actually don't fill up as often. You know, there's another full one. They don't fill up as often as we think they do.
Yeah.
Right. And these are all pulled from the roll call. So this is the terminal reporting on the seats that were used. Oh, there's another full one.
So what about like, let's go with, maybe I want to go to Europe at some point.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if I got to fly out from the West Coast or East Coast, right? I can make it happen from either way, either coast, preferably West Coast since I'm here. I've never flown Space A to Europe or overseas except for, you know, Iwakuni, Japan to Okinawa, Japan. So I've never had to experience any kind of layovers or anything like that. Are there layovers with Space A flights?
Oh, oh, I shouldn't have cleared my preferences. That is a great question. Sometimes it's not the correct term to use it as a layover, but kind of, right, in the sense that we're used to in traveling, is
Or
there's
refueling?
still, there's a refuel, but there's still the risk of that flight not continuing to its final destination, right? So when you touch down, now you're rolling the dice again, right? Like, and sometimes I shouldn't have closed that. Is I have I'm just gonna run this, even though something's off there.
Yeah, I think Harley for Bill mentioned it. There's crew rest and there's planes break.
I'm actually gonna.
That might be something they're called.
Yeah, so you're still. That was interesting. That was a bug, right? I had to refresh the page for the date to refresh. So these are good things for me to experience. So let's just say we're trying to get to Germany, right? That's a popular location. I do have this flag column on the far right, and sometimes I don't have any in this one. I need to find an example. Sometimes, here we go. Here's a good one. Is sometimes flights are listed on the schedule the same line, even though they have a stop. So what I do is I add a note next to it. Is likely a multi-city flight, meaning that it may have flown straight there. It may have had another stop on the way there. So you see, they're not extremely prevalent, but there are some that may or may not have another city flight. And you might be thinking, like, that's got to be easy to figure out whether it is. And it is. It's very easy for you or me to open up one of these schedules and be like, okay, it's on the same line. It's got to stop. But for my computer program, it's really hard for it to tell. So if there's any risk at all of it being a multi-city flight or having a layover, I put it in as a flag, and then the user can check the authoritative source and make sure, you know, it is a direct flight, or if it is in fact has a layover. You know.
Interesting. So what do we got going to Germany? Maybe like this week or next week.
Ooh, okay, so let's look future. West Coast is hard. Nothing going to Germany. Let's add a couple more. But Germany's like the creme de la creme for Space A for getting over to Europe. It's the easiest one to get to. We'll add them all. But if Germany doesn't hit, the likelihood of other ones hitting isn't great. All right, so
the East Coast too.
None in the future, but let's look at the past history, because I can kind of give you a feel for when maybe these could pop up. So the last time there was a flight to Germany, it was from Travis, and it was on December 18th. Look, and the day before, and on the 17th. Both. Look at this. Only 3 people.
So 73 seats available and only 3 used.
Yeah, look at this. It's like Travis 3 flights right in a row. 15, 17, 18 of December. None of these flights filled up. Yo, look at that. Wow.
Wow. So I might have to check these out. You know, my wife is working. I might have to just give her a call. Hey, I'm retired. I'm taking off.
Out of here. Out of here.
Oh man, that's
Your
cool.
chances of getting back to the West Coast are not good. Let's
No,
flip
well,
this stuff.
I've always been told, I've always heard, and I kind of took that to into consideration when I did my own space A, is just in case there's no flights on the way back when you need to come back, just have enough money in the bank account for you to purchase a one way flight back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's probably the best thing you can do.
You got to definitely plan for those those circumstances. So here's the reverse path. If we flip it from Germany to oh, interesting. I was expecting Ramstein to be the most popular, but we have I wasn't stationed ever in Germany, so I'm gonna butcher this. It's Bangelheim, maybe. Where the heck is that? Okay, looks like it's north.
It's by Luxembourg.
Yep, by Luxembourg, and it flies to Fairchild. It looks like relatively often, at least in December.
What is it? Is there an Air Force base, air base out there?
I don't know.
Engelheim Air Force Air Base.
Oh, oops. Getting myself
Let's see.
all confused with this date shifter. Yeah, look at that. I mean, a ton. That's really odd.
Might have to check that out. I guess if you want to go to Germany at all, I'm looking up photos of it. I mean, it looks like a decent little town with a little bridge there. Nothing too crazy, just a nice little town.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one might be a bug. Let's go check it out because that's a lot of so some schedules that yeah. So this AMC terminal doesn't post a roll call. They only
Mhm.
post a 72 hour. So you got to be wary of terminals that don't post roll calls. They're basically like fire and forget. Is if they post a 72 and they move a flight, there's no way to know if that flight left or it didn't leave. So you can
Mm,
see this all of the seats available are 8 and it's coming from a 72 hour is likely this is one flight and it just kept getting delayed or maybe it is more than one flight. You can't know because the terminal doesn't post an after action or a roll call. So
gotcha.
that's actually a really good thing to capture on this video is like roll calls is like the terminal reported what happened. So that's easy. I can grab that. We can cancel flights that didn't take off and we're only going to record the ones that did take off. But these are risky. This terminal only posts a 72-hour schedule, so you
Hmm.
don't quite know if it left or not. But just
Yeah,
because there's
I
8
might
seats available,
refrain from using that one.
yeah. I mean, right? If you got there on the 10th, right? You're like, oh, I saw this
Yep.
one posted 8 seats on the 10th. It didn't leave on the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. It didn't leave till the 22nd, likely.
Yeah. And then Josh CPNW says Spangdahlem. Okay.
Spangdahl. Okay.
Spangdahlem.
Oh, I'm
Thanks.
gonna try to remember that, but we'll see. Ramstein's an easy one just because it's so popular, but still, Ramstein is just it's a it's a faithful one, right? It's consistently putting out really good locations and flights. So
Mhm.
if you're looking at just that one, in fact, let's just tailor the search down to it, right?
And, I'm glad you're bringing up all these options because this search right here is the one that I usually use. Like I have the access. I can see who's flying where, usually from Travis, right? But this is the one I usually go to. But you've kind of opened me up to more options on here, more ways of finding flights. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think maybe I should have presented in the opposite order because I think if you're going to use EB tools effectively, I think the first
Mhm.
thing you got to do is probably join some Facebook pages just to kind of get a feel for how Space A works. Because
Yeah.
I'm not, EB's not quite in the business of educating yet. Maybe we'll go that way, but EB's more for a newly educated like space age traveler or one that's an expert and
Mhm.
a tool that now it levels the playing field for finding flights. You don't have to be an expert to know the routes or to like know the consistency. Now now you can find one easy and track it. So the
Yeah.
way to do that in my mind is once you're educated, you come to the Explorer first and you just do a feeler, like what's out there? What kind of
Mhm.
routes from my area are available? What kind of routes from, areas I'm willing to travel for are available? And then once you pick those routes, then you should go to the email and sign up for an email. Then you'll get those consistent emails of those routes that you're interested. And then when it's game time, when you're getting like real close, you can come in here and start looking at like, are the flights filling up that are leaving from, Ramstein to JBLM? And it's actually, it's not great consistency, but there's some flights in there.
Now,
Um,
to your knowledge, when you take a Space A, you have to have a passport on you, don't you?
yeah, you need to
Yeah.
have a
Okay.
passport on you. Um,
All right.
and on the sign up form, I've got a link to the State Department. It's a good idea to just look up the tourist requirements, especially if you're going to Oconus. I think the EU is about to put in some kind of like EU like tourist tax that you have to pay before you go. So,
Mm.
normal travel still like applies because we'll be tourists when we land.
Yeah. Excellent, man.
Yeah.
I guess aside from the flights, I guess the one big thing to do, and I know this is not part of your site here, but it is to figure out the lodging piece because sometimes you get kicked back and you can't, maybe you can't check into the hotel that you had gotten into or that you reserved. So then you may have to call the hotel and say, "Hey, it's not going to happen today. It's going to happen tomorrow." So I think that's the biggest piece with the whole Space A is trying to figure out where the heck you can stay.
Oh yeah, your transportation. You got to plan on missing a flight. Even if you check the odds and it looks pretty
Yeah.
good, you should still plan on missing it so then you're not in the hole for your lodging, for, your transportation. Um, and then that's a space that I'm really interested in exploring. But right now
Mhm.
I need to master this Space A flight tracking and
Yeah.
searching.
Yeah.
And then the idea is now that I can help a user get to that location, now can I build relationships with hotels, transportation to help that user now have those easy inroads to, you know, to take advantage of that flight. So, but that's way in the distant future. It takes me too
Yeah.
long to build these things for me to move that fast.
I can definitely see. I mean, as many people that go to Hawaii or many people that go to Japan that I know of, I think you could definitely build something up with like the new Sano Hotel over in Tokyo. That's close to Yokosuka Naval Base, or the what's the one in Hawaii? Gosh, I've stayed there before. The it's on Oahu. Somebody help me out on Oahu. It'll come to me anyway. I'm sure you can get like some kind of collaborations with these, or maybe they shout you
That
out or something. Hey, work
I
with
mean,
you and then bring folks out there.
yeah, and especially that this is for veterans, right? You're not
Mhm.
flying Space A unless you're a veteran. So I'm hoping that maybe I can establish like relationships with these places. And be like our clientele is only military. Like, what can you do for us? And then
Yeah,
maybe that's something that I can offer in the future. Yeah, for sure.
absolutely. So, as far as your site here, walk me through real quick. What are the free things that you get, and then what do you get once you decide to put
Yeah.
to do like a payment plan for this or pay
Well,
for it?
first of all, the free trial is 45 days, which is a huge free trial. For your first Space A trip, you probably don't even have to do a paid account, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're planning on you want to dive into your research early to maximize the chance that you can catch a flight, or you're going to take it more times than once. Your first hit is probably for free, right? 45-day free trial.
Mhm.
You don't even register a credit card for the trial. Have it set that if you don't want it, it just expires. So if you're worried about like I am, I hate signing up for things and then having to like schedule when I'm going to cancel it. I think I just got bamboozled into Apple TV that way, you know.
Oh man.
So, anyways, the site
Put it on your
doesn't do that.
calendar.
Yeah, it's a personal hatred of mine, so you don't have to. No one that joins the site has to do that. Is in fact, I encourage everybody to make an account because you don't have to be a paid user to save your information on the account page, and then you can use the sign up with all your information saved for free
Mhm.
forever, right? So everything's for free at first, and then if I'm going to hover over it, a recap is the terminal sign up, which is that form. I'm just going to pull them up real quick. So that's this form, right? This is the I want to email all these different terminals and sign up with one simple form. That's this service. And then there's the I want to know when schedules were updated, and I don't want to have to visit a bazillion different sites. That's the schedule report. So that's this one. And then on the paid side, there's my pride and joy, the one we just reviewed, the Explore Flight database. And that flight database is just getting better every day. Every 20 minutes, look for schedule updates. If there's a schedule update, those flights are hitting our database. And then the step off of that, which is super useful, is the track flights by email, which is the one, Vic, that we looked at
Yeah.
first before going over to the site. Is just now I know the route that I want, and I just want I don't want to even visit your site, Rob. I just want it in my inbox. Is set your preferences there and then get those emails every day or weekly, however you prefer.
Excellent, man. Wow. And this is just you. You don't have a team that does this. This is you. You built this.
Yes, it's too expensive to hire a team. So I've been building myself. If there's enough traction, I would really like to turn it into an app. Is kind of my dream.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's got to be enough traction for me to start exploring that option.
It's, I think there might be some traction coming your way. Because the way that we are as a society, always on the go, having all this stuff on us. Maybe when I want to log into a website, having an app easily available there, so you can just kind of scroll down.
Yeah, and logging in is an experience that's not so
Yeah.
fun, especially like my site currently doesn't have any links to social logins, just because it's another feature that I'd have to pay for since I'm using a low code interface.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, I mean, on an app, you're permanently signed in. So, and there's some more powerful things you can do on an app because you have that location data of the phone. So maybe you don't even have to enter your preference for a starting location because you just use the phone's location to automatically search for like flights or terminals originating near that location. So there's some really cool things that you can do on an app that you just
Yeah.
can't do on a website.
Right. Right. And how much of this, out of curiosity, how much of this is like using AI in the background?
Yeah, so the main machine is a custom processing that I built. Is I'm using an open AI um, model basically to organize the data. So because every terminal is posted differently,
Hmm.
I can use some vision models to pull that text out of the PDF or however it's posted, and I can use some positioning data to organize it. But because every single terminal posts their schedule a little bit differently, I need like this. I can either personally review the output every single day and post it, or I can have AI review it. So the way I have
Okay.
it built right now is I have AI doing the review. And then I have a couple like gates that I have listed. If things don't look quite right, it doesn't put it in the database. It puts it up on a separate program that I go into and I manually review. So every once in a while, I'll get some flights that don't look right. and I'll go in and then I have to approve them before they hit the database.
It's pretty amazing for what it used to be and what it is now. I mean, you've really brought us into like 2026 instead of scouring the internet and going from Facebook to Facebook page, trying to figure out, oh, where are these people going, and just constantly reloading or checking it every day. Now you don't have to do that. There's like a one-stop shop for it, man. That's ebtravels.com. That's awesome. And you were gracious enough to give the viewers here 20% off if they do decide to utilize the paid version of it with code green logbook, all caps. That's awesome. Definitely make use of it.
Absolutely.
I know I will be. Very cool, man. Where else can people find you? Is it just ebtravels.com? And are you guys on Facebook or anything?
I am, but I admittedly don't have a great presence. But if you do excuse me, if you look up Ebie Travels on Facebook, and I'll send you the link, Vic, is you can go to my Facebook page. On my Facebook page, I post updates on the website, but then I also post analysis. So I take the flights from the database, and then I make visualizations of that data and post it on my Facebook page as well. So those have been helpful for a lot of viewers that aren't quite as data savvy. They don't want to dive into the weeds. They want to see something more visual. I put that kind of stuff on my Facebook.
Ebie Travels with an S, right? So I got it right.
Yes.
Ebie Travels with an S. It's down below. You can find it. Rob, man, I want to really thank you for coming on and kind of doing a walkthrough with us. This video, I'm going to download it and then repost it up as an entire video for anybody to watch. So it's not just a live stream. It's a great piece of gear. It really is. You've created something awesome that I think will work for a lot of folks. I use it all the time. It's kind of like when I'm looking for somewhere to fly to, I look at Google Flights, and then I got Ebie Travels open, and I'm like, man, I would so much rather use Ebie Travels, because I don't have to pay, for a family of 5, whatever it is, $5,000 to go somewhere. Depends on where we go. I would so much rather use that space that we earned. So I really do appreciate what you've done, man. And thank you for sharing all the info and walking us through it.